and welcome back to the Evil and Eerie podcast. Why are you laughing at me? I'd like to do a little pause. I like to do a little pause so I can insert the music.
That's fine.
Did you listen to it?
No, I haven't listened.
All right, well, we're already off to a very bad start here. So I am with a new co-host, number 3, Michelle. She's also our social media manager. All those posts you've been seeing, don't talk yet. Sorry. She is, all those posts you've been seeing on Instagram, they have been through her. Now you can talk.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Because I don't know what else to say.
Hi, Michelle.
We met at work, and I like to say that it was either befriend her or die, because she was terrifying. So I befriended quickly, and we became allies in the face of terrible people.
Before escape rooms got cool, so we worked there when it was sad.
Are you sure?
And haunted.
Yes, and we are going to talk about our experiences because they were not only scary but funny.
That's the next episode.
Yes,
so
that is the next episode.
Stay tuned for that.
And we will do a little
another
yeah.
topic.
So the only thing I'll add on to that for now is the first day I walked in there, I saw the despair in her eyes.
And why didn't you walk away? You were just like, sign me up for this sadness.
You know.
Well, I think we discussed if there was a zombie invasion, what would be our exit route. We were on the same page, so that was reassuring.
We had that conversation?
Yes.
When? Remind me.
Actually, a couple times. But regardless, we were just like, you know, we gotta like leave here. Like, we can't be here. We weren't gonna be trapped. We weren't gonna be trapped there, so.
I feel like the zombies would have been the least of our worries sticking around there. And
well, exactly. It was like, you know, you can hide and you can jump out the window. That's an easy one. You'll just glide.
If I had to pick a window to jump out of, it would be the one facing CVS. Because there's no survival.
No, that's the easy one.
What do you mean?
You can leap from there.
You can?
Yeah, why not?
So? Oh, okay.
I guess we'll have to try it.
Yeah, we'll have to give you like a map in the next episode.
I guess they have no idea how many stories we're at, so.
Yeah, we'll have to describe it. But, so yeah, that's going to be an exciting one, but unfortunately you have to get through this one first. No, I'm kidding. It's going to be fun. So anyways, yeah, Michelle works as a marketing. That was your other one.
Currently, criminal defense paralegal.
So this episode's perfect for you.
Yeah, I listen to the fun stuff.
Give us a fun fact about yourself before we dive in.
Will they? No.
What?
Will they? Who?
That was not an answer to the question.
Me?
I just said give us a fun fact about yourself.
The audience or me?
Yeah, audience, everybody that's listening right now, DM us a fun fact about yourself and we'll read it in the next episode. You dumbass. Give us the funniest fact that you could supply.
The funniest?
Yeah. Or something scary that happened to you.
I got run over by a deer and hit by a dumb bitch in New Britain recently, so I don't know what else compares to experiences lately.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know what to say to that. She once scolded a customer for telling her that there was no hand sanitizer left. Michelle's the straight up bitch.
Wow.
So
harsh words.
You are going to hear, yes. So you're going to hear some brutal honesty on her part, a lot of insulting. So if you can't take it, continue to listen because you'll be entertained. You can hear about the ladies' fruit and flower mission that you keep writing the posts about.
Well, I have looked into it, so I know what it's about.
Oh, good. Are you going to join it?
I'm already a part of it. Obviously.
Well, then you can deliver yourself fruit and flowers for the injury you're about to.
You seen my lemon?
Oh God, have you ever seen the lemon tree video?
No.
So there was this video on YouTube, and you can watch it. And basically, it's the precursor to porn.
Excuse me?
It's a porn video. It's called The Lemon Tree. And it's a woman dressed in very risque clothing, stealing lemons and putting them into her boobs.
Mm-hmm.
Not her boobs, her shirt.
Sure.
And in a backyard. And she's just stuffing lemons into her shirt. And then I guess there's a couple, and they go, "Oh my God, look at that whore! She's stealing our lemons." And then I guess it leads into porn, but you don't watch that part on YouTube, obviously.
So you just watched. The beginning is on YouTube.
Yep. Well, I'm sure the whole thing is on.
But then
The
they
porn
tell you
sites.
to go somewhere else, or no? They just leave you.
They just
They're
leave
like,
you
"Where are the
because they're not
lemons?
allowed to on YouTube.
Where did the lemons go? Did they make lemon piccata? Did they make lemon cheesecake?
What do you think-
one knows.
What do you think they did?
I
after?
would like to think that they cooked a recipe.
Unless they have an oven in their bedroom, I don't think so.
You don't know who
I didn't want to watch
rich
it.
people are with their ovens.
I thought you were going to say,
kitchens.
listen,
But they have a lot of lemons. Don't you want to follow the journey of the lemons?
no.
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 That's fine.
But you should watch it sometime. No, I'm
I
kidding.
do like lemons, though.
I'm just going to stop talking about this now because I feel like it's going to get a little bit too dirty. How did we get on this topic? Oh, the ladies' fruit and flower mission. Who the hell are you talking to? I just see her yelling at a bag from the Aldi.
My dog was itching himself. I had to get him to stop.
Is he in the bag? Because you were like pointing inside of it.
What?
But no, we got bowls from Chipotle. We got a sad amount of chips.
But a whole lot of queso.
We got a lot of queso.
Some very unacceptable.
And we got some other gifts too. We got an
Unacceptable
apple
gifts.
juice and a fruit that I can't deter. I
might
can't
be
determine.
an orange, but it's not.
Upon first
I
glance, it looks like an orange, but it could be a clementine or a tangerine. I don't know what the latter two look like, except that they're little and orange. And it's in a little container. And we didn't order this fruit. No, you know why? Because Lizzie Borden put it in there.
I don't trust it.
It's
I
from
didn't
the
ask
Ladies
for it.
Fruit and Flower Mission.
I didn't
Why
order
else? Why else would it be in there? They knew we were doing the podcast today. Lizzie said, "I'm, glad you mentioned me." She gave us a little gift.
They're just everywhere.
This was at breakfast the day she killed her parents.
It could have been. I don't think we should eat it.
I mean, were you planning on?
No.
No, I wasn't either. That's disgusting.
You don't know where it's been.
No, I'm gonna have the
When
apple
does
juice
Chipotle
though.
have oranges?
I'm gonna have the apple juice though. But I know that there's no competition for that. That one's available.
So real quick, just
Yes.
as I'm perusing the internet, I'd like to share two major headlines that popped up. Who knows if they're real? First, gambling granny shoots husband dead, then kills a stranger to steal her identity. Next up, man kills his wife and walks into police station holding her severed head. There's pictures of both. I don't know if they're real pictures, but they're there. They're on the internet.
Well, dang.
Would you believe it? I don't know.
I mean, what site are we seeing these on? Wow, she does
I'm
not
just
look
showing you that
bad
it's
for a
real.
granny.
I
No, that second one is definitely just a film set.
love that.
I don't think either of those are real.
Well, let us know in the comments if you think that either of those news articles are real,
You all need to start commenting more on the posts
or else.
because
Or
we
else
put
Lizzie's gonna
things
send you fruit. You never know when you're gonna get an apple
fruit from the
juice.
1800s. You all need to start commenting more because we put posts up that say comment, give us your stories, comment what you
Didn't get
think.
a story though.
What?
You did get a story though.
I did. I actually got another story too. Somebody
When are
else
you gonna read
DM'd
'em?
me.
Good question. Good question.
You will do that in the next one.
So I didn't read them yet, so it is going to be a genuine surprise.
And we want to talk about some conspiracy theories. So let us know that we have stuff to talk about.
Yep.
We have a lot of conspiracy theories that we like, but we want to know what you're interested in because we could talk all day.
Yeah, so follow us on all of our socials. Instagram is at Evil and Eerie Podcast. Twitter is at Evil Eerie Podcast, but we don't tweet as much as
Oh,
I
I
should.
could do that too.
Oh, that's a part of your package?
If there's food involved, then yes.
Sure. We are also going to be on YouTube shortly. And by shortly, I mean we should already be on YouTube by the day this episode airs. And we will be uploading all of the podcast episodes that have already been released. We will also do other weekly shows, other series. We might do a comedy one. We might do some other stuff. We are going to have different content so that you can see our faces and get to know us better. So you'll see new clips, new shows, exclusive YouTube stuff, comedy series, advice shows, whatever you want to see, let us know. And we're doing a Patreon soon, which you all better subscribe to.
The fun fund.
We also recently announced that we're going to be doing merch designed by our awesome team of designers, Kate. Shout out to Kate and Michelle, who will also be designing some stuff if she wants, if she feels like it. And buy our merch. When it comes out, we will make plenty of announcements about it. We have shirts, hoodies, hats, and we're also going to have some other stuff on the Patreon, like special video chats.
Ooh, wow,
That you can get with the cast,
mysterious.
with the hosts, and other things. Other fun stuff
Seances.
that will be, I don't know about that one, but other fun stuff that we will be doing. So stay tuned for all of that. Listen to all of our episodes on Podbean and Apple Podcasts if you haven't already, and download. Now, without further ado, we're talking about Amy Mullis, who on the last episode I accidentally called Amy Murris.
This is why we're redoing this one. There's
No, I mean on the last episode before
no.
that when I was advertising, and I'm not cutting it out. So sorry, Amy, she's dead. She won't care.
She might.
Why did you point at the orange?
Maybe she gave you that orange. Maybe it's a poisoned orange.
She would have given me corn. She hasn't. Someone has in their bowl right now.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know why I just got a picture of you smiling, holding the corn.
You ever held a corn rake?
They're big. They're nothing to joke about. So Amy Mullis, for those of you who don't know, was a 38-year-old woman who passed away in 2018 due to questionable circumstances. And by that, I mean that she was found with a corn rake in her back. And so we're just going to do a little background information. Like I said, she was a 38-year-old woman who was married to Todd Mullis. They lived in Delaware County, Iowa, and they had 3 kids. One was named Tristan. The other 2, well, beats me. But he's the interesting one in this case. He was the eldest. They lived on a barn, and they raised pigs.
What a life.
And that's an important detail, because on this day, they were waiting for a batch of piglets to be born. What's the
Big day on the farm.
What's the name of the character on Winnie the Pooh? The piglet?
Piglet?
Its name is Piglet?
Yeah, isn't it?
Oh, you're probably right. Is there another one named Pig?
No.
All I know is Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin.
There's Eeyore.
Oh, how could I forget Eeyore? And the kangaroo, too? What a strange assortment of animals. That's why I don't watch Winnie the Pooh anymore. So...
That's why.
And he didn't wear pants. That's the other reason.
He's just living it up.
On this fine morning, she was waiting for the piglets to arrive with her husband and her son, and they had some errands to run. And I believe it was at 9:30 in the morning when they had to prepare for this, for, the Immaculate Conception. And he was about to mow the lawn, but they were afraid that the cats were going to go out and get run over by the tractor. So he said, Amy, go get the cat carrier. And that was in a barn. And the barn that they were in was about a football field's length away. So about 100 yards. So she went on her way to this shed, which was the smallest one on their property, to get the cat carrier. And 1 hour later, she had still not gotten back with the cat carrier.
You ever seen a corn rake? Look at this thing. I'll have to post a picture of this later.
That, I believe, is the exact one, right?
Yes.
I mean, unless that's ketchup, but...
This is disturbing. This is like a sharp object.
Mm-hmm.
So, the biggest, well, there's several notable things that make this strange. So first, the corn rake has 4 prongs, but she had 6 puncture wounds. So obviously she got hit by this thing twice. So, I mean, there's a couple different theories here, but it just, to me, seems very unclear what could have really happened, given the proximity of where everyone was.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, the whole timeline is just really like strange. But
so, yeah, the son was the one that found her. And she was covered in blood. And I believe when they found her, she was still clinging on to life.
Mm-hmm.
Barely. And Todd and Tristan put her in the truck or the car or whatever, started bringing her to the ambulance. And that's, there was a 911 call. And they were basically instructing Todd on how to try to keep her alive.
Mm-hmm.
That is when she basically died. So that failed. But, I mean, she did have the corn rake in her. So she really didn't have much of a fighting chance.
Ideal. You're supposed to, like, leave that in when someone's bleeding. You're not supposed to, like, take it out because then you bleed more.
Yeah.
So, that wasn't very good thinking. But, on top of it, so, they had been having marital issues, which is essentially why everyone pointed the blame at him right away. She was also having an affair that he knew about. So, as far as suspects goes, there's her husband, who is convicted for the murder, her, lover, and then, this 13-year-old son just running around not knowing what the heck is going on. So,
in the questioning, he said that he didn't know about the affair. He knew about the one, because she had 2 affairs. She had one in 2013 that he knew about, and one in 2018 with Jerry, the farm manager. But he claimed during the interrogation that he did not know about that affair, which they didn't believe.
Yeah, right?
They did not buy that. And if his text messages are to be believed, and we'll go into the text messages, he was texting about the fact that she was having an affair. Right. So we've got an inconsistency right there. Right. So they did, on the documentary I watched, a bunch of interviews with her friends, and they all said she felt trapped in the marriage. He wouldn't let her leave. He kept tabs on her everywhere she went. They literally called him a stalker. Like we were talking about earlier. The stalkers, they're everywhere. Even the ones you're married to.
The stalkers are everywhere.
So he kept tabs on her. She was planning to get divorced.
Because there was a lot of things suspicious about the search history, but they could have been done, the search history may have necessarily not been done by him. It could have been done by her too, because they shared devices.
Yes. They also had kids with, these topics are very, because some of the things on the search history were searches on the Aztecs on what would happen to, cheating spouses. Facts about cheating people. So it could have been one of the kids wondering if one of their parents was cheating on the other.
Or what if it was her guilt looking into like what's going to happen to me for cheating, maybe she was trying to figure out like, are the Mayans about to give me a poisoned orange in my Chipotle? Like what's, like maybe she thought that something bad was going to happen to her and she was trying to like, but then again, it could have been him and she was about to, throw her in a ritual into a volcano and then had to settle for a corn rake because he works on a farm.
She thought that the Bell Witch was going to come beat her in her sleep. And if you have not listened to the Bell Witch episode, you're really missing out because that one was funny.
Did that one already get posted? I think we
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm like, that one's for tomorrow.
But when do you think this is coming out?
Oh, listen, I'm still in real time here. I'm like,
so listen to the Bell Witch episode. It came out this past Friday. which is tomorrow,
This 18th.
the 18th of June. And, you know, it really, we have a lot of ties in that, you know, the Bell Witch would beat the children, but then she'd deliver them all their fruit in the morning. So that's why we got an orange. Who's going to get beaten tonight? We don't know. So I do have another theory about the search history, which I'm going to go into later, because it was really, you know,
And
it was almost too coincidental.
Wasn't there was like a search for a wedding dress?
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Like, can't someone just like
Why would she?
summarize this? That's why it was strange, because it seemed like both of them were searching for stuff like, you know, simultaneously. That
Yeah.
was like weird, like, you know.
You shouldn't be searching for wedding dresses when you have not even divorced yet.
Yeah.
Other people were saying, though, that Todd was scary, he was cruel to the animals on the farm, but that him and the son, Tristan, were close. And so in the documentary, they showed some of his support, people that think he is innocent, and the people that did not think that he was innocent. And there was one woman who was really weird. She was like, you know, oh, when I first saw him, I knew he was innocent. I kind of had a crush on him. It was weird. It was bizarre. Not appropriate either.
No.
But she made the Facebook page saying he was innocent and all that.
Good for her.
Yes, that's because she was hot for him. And there were other people that were just as bad, saying, oh, you know, this and that. But, you know, nothing about the woman that cheated on her husband. This is going to sound horrible. It's hard to have sympathy for Amy Mullis. Like, it's a shame that she died, and I don't wish death upon people that do that, but...
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think it was just really bad karma? Like, literally, like, she literally was just a bad person and something just bad happened to her. Because, like, look at how narrow this barn is. How are you going to swing something into someone twice in this kind of a narrow space? And we'll post a picture of this, too, because you need the reference of the area that she was found in. It just
unless they just... Like, unless she was near there and they kind of just pushed her in.
Ugh.
So here's another fun fact. They had 24/7 surveillance that was not running during the hour she was killed. Conveniently. And she did have surgery a couple days prior. She had outpatient surgery a couple days before. So she was feeling uneasy. She was feeling very loopy, very accident prone. So we have two very feasible possibilities here. The cameras weren't recording, which definitely screams it was planned. Then again, she was not feeling very steady on her feet. Screaming it was an accident. Very, you know, very hand in hand right now. So like we said, there were a lot of interesting searches on what the Aztecs would do for cheating people, cheating spouse fun facts. Organ placement was another one that was looked up. And another one was killing unfaithful women. Those were just some of the Google searches that came up. People were split between the two. A lot of people thought that he was innocent. A lot of people thought that he was not. It was very kind of even.
Well, yeah, because it's one of those situations that it just doesn't make any sense, you know? It's like, for him to get there, for him to get all the way to where she was without the son noticing was just like a timeline thing. And then it's like, okay, you know, all these weird searches. So like maybe he did resent her, but it seems like just really overall awkward timing that he's all of a sudden like, okay, I got my son here. I got these pigs on the way. Let me just run real quick and just kill my wife with a corn rake and then just run back really quick and then just like pretend like I had no idea and then like throw her over my son's lap and like it's just like the whole thing. I mean, I know people do just like lose their minds, but like the whole thing just seems like very like not convenient. Like, why didn't you just like kill her like when she was like, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's like way better time. So just I don't know.
No, and he definitely would have tried to cover it up.
Yeah, he clearly was like, I mean, he called 911 like right away and was like, I don't know. It's
like he literally would have had to like be schizophrenic. That's like the only like if he had different personalities that I could see,
And then to
But
become a track star all of a sudden, to run a football field lengths to this, thing, and then back without being, I mean, the son would have noticed if he was like out of breath or something.
yeah.
So, which makes me think, was it maybe one of these men that she was having an affair with that was like creeping around the farm that morning?
Well, I guess Jerry was ruled out because he had an alibi. I think that should have been a little bit more closely examined.
I mean, anyone can just say they were doing something.
Yeah. And I do have another theory that I'm about Jerry.
Ooh, okay.
So Tristan was the witness, since he was the one who discovered the body, and so they kind of went off of his word, and there is really no way that he could have done it if he is to be believed.
Right.
And he said he was around him the whole time. He would not have had time to run, like you said, the football field length and back.
That's not like a short distance.
And you don't run to kill somebody and run back. Like, it's not like I gotta get this done in this
he's
window.
looking at his Apple Watch like, ooh, gotta get my steps in. Gonna go kill my wife real quick. BRB, Tristan. Watch those little piglets, though.
I guess they were trying to say, the prosecution was trying to say that Tristan, because he did change his story a couple of times, which, I mean, who wouldn't at that age?
Right, he's 13.
Yeah.
He's traumatized.
Yeah, exactly.
He just had his mother laying bleeding
And now
on his lap. He's like,
and now his father might, he, not to spoil, but he is, imprisoned.
So they put they literally just like put that shit out there.
I know. And her family was there. That's
Here
horrible.
It is. We'll put that image on the internet as well. We'll give you that.
It's Iowa. I'm telling you, it's Iowa. Sorry if you're listening from Iowa, but I don't think they understand.
If you're from Iowa, tell us how many corn rakes you have.
And if you would ever consider using it to slaughter someone.
Does that seem like a practical murder weapon? Comment below.
So they thought that Tristan was basically protecting his father. Their story was a sham,
Mm-hmm.
and that he said he was around him so that the father would have an alibi.
Mm-hmm.
He did go get a drink of water at some point, but that they both claimed only took a minute at most, so he would not have had time. So it makes no sense.
I mean, yeah, maybe the son was, maybe obviously not in on it at first. I don't think that would make sense, but maybe he was trying to just protect his father, and his dad was like, "Hey, like, you can't tell anyone that I was gone for that long," and the son was probably like, young and naive, and was like, "Okay, sure."
I mean, I guess that I could see, but I feel like if he had even an inkling of an idea that his father had anything to do with it, unless the kid didn't get along with the mother,
Maybe.
that I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what was the family dynamic? Like, maybe the kid didn't like her, because there was one quote in this article saying that Todd and his son had learned of the affair, and the two of them had grown closer because of the incident.
Interesting. Is that a recipe for murder? Don't know, but at least on the son's end,
Just, here's the thing. If you don't like your spouse, just leave them.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, I'm sure that farm is probably worth a lot. And
it's also harder when you have kids involved.
Yeah, but I don't...
Because the second you leave, the spouse is probably going to get
I feel like murdering
custody.
them just isn't really the right answer in that scenario.
No,
There's
no.
a whole lot of...
Oh, no, I was saying for the leave your spouse part, it's harder when you have kids.
Yeah, of course. But
I wasn't saying the murder.
A grisly murder versus just an awkward divorce. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess in the moment one might feel easier, but I don't think that's the right route to go.
Not at all.
No.
And so I thought this case was just horribly done. It really was. They rushed it.
Yeah. Well,
The prosecution, in my opinion, his defense sucked.
Yeah.
Because even with the defense, fun fact, the defense was trying to argue that it was not an accident. So they even thought that it was murder. They just didn't think that.
Well.
They just didn't.
Well.
They were like, yeah.
Wow, what a great attorney you hired.
It was some old dude that really didn't. So they didn't think it was Todd, but they thought it was murder, which I think
They didn't have a strong enough argument for anybody else being the murderer, which I think they could have made if they'd done a little more work. And the prosecution, they weren't strong either. They should by no means have won, because the prosecution also sucked.
Well, they just didn't really have any compelling evidence, and that's why it just
No,
doesn't
not at
make
all.
sense. Which, I mean, he's in jail, and it is what it is. But it's just like, you know, to not know what truly happened, it's like, you know, like what?
And so the 911 call, because they put it on the documentary, they put that and the trial on the documentary. And so I was torn, because the 911 call kind of sounded convincing that he was genuinely, you know, in a pinch. The trial, it seemed like he was putting on a little bit of an act.
Well,
Of course, that's because he's in front of people,
yeah.
a lot more nervous.
And if he has an undiagnosed mental illness that, you know, triggered this to happen, then he could really have two different personalities, and he could have just like killed her. That, you know, personality switches off, and then all of a sudden he's hysterical because he found his wife.
Yeah.
But, you know,
They probably didn't even entertain that, because, and to that's shameful that they didn't really look into any of that.
yeah, it's just not fair to her. Like, you know.
And so here was the really interesting, in the video, the 911 call, they said, I guess near the end of the trial, the prosecution came forward with what they thought was him mumbling underneath his breath, saying, "Go to hell," and "Go to hell, cheating whore." And
His reaction in court, he's just like, what? Like, he's like, I
it literally, it sounded nothing like that. It was very clearly edited. Even with the editing, it did not sound, it sounded like he was saying, she's cold, over and over again.
Yeah.
It did not by any means say that. The jury believed it. They were completely duped.
Well, that's the problem with jury trials. You can convince juries. You can convince your fellow jury members of anything.
It was literally just the fact that the prosecuting attorney was this. I mean, her argument wasn't that strong. I didn't really think she was a great prosecuting attorney. It's just the fact that the defense was worse. Is he did not hire a good defense attorney. That was what did him in. But we had people, you know, in the court, they're playing it, and they're saying, "Oh, you know, can you hear that? He's saying, go to hell, cheating whore." To me, for anybody to believe that, just foolish.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that you can convince people to hear something if you like point it out to them, you know. But in this case, yeah. I didn't hear it, but also his reaction to it was just like, I don't know. His reactions to everything just freaked me out. He was like a freaky dude.
They were like a little too calm. I feel like
no wonder.
Like that's why I kind of had a little bit of hesitancy when I saw the trial.
Mm-hmm.
He was answering everything. I feel like he had no emotion on his face. Like Norman Bates.
I also think about at that point, by the time, just a little bit of law background for y'all. By the time you get to a trial, you've had to go through so many interviews of the same exact questions. So you're meeting with multiple attorneys. You're answering a set of questions that are standard sets of questions. Then you're going to the other attorney and you're answering the same things. Then you're doing the deposition, which is literally the same questions over and over again that they're going to ask you in the trial. Then you prepare for the trial by answering the same questions. And by the time you get to the trial, it's pretty much scripted because you've had to answer the same things so many times because they're trying to catch you up on a lie. So by the time like you're there, it's like, okay, like.
Well, is that different because this was new evidence they brought up on that day?
Well, that's what I mean. His reaction is just like, I mean, he's very just like, what? Like
he was like, we both are in agreement that we don't think he did it, but he was a weird guy.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like somebody I totally feel bad for because he was
but
pretty
maybe
strange.
he did do it. I don't know.
He could have.
Who searches killing unfaithful women for funsies?
So
the Aztec tribe one really gets me. Like, do you know how they used to kill cheating wives in Aztec tribes? Maybe that's why he used the corn rake because they used to use like torture and like crazy.
They'd make you sit with Lizzie Borden in a room with her fruit and flowers.
So I don't maybe
and her hatchet. And then the Bell Witch would come in and finish the job.
The perfect murder.
With Jean Harlow in there too. But all of them. But here's the thing. Why would he have said, and this is what the defense tried to say, he was on a 911 call. Why would he be saying go to hell and go to hell cheating whore on a 911 call?
If he was,
And his son was in the car with him.
well, yeah. I mean, he like literally threw his wife over his poor son. She's like bleeding everywhere. He's panicking. He calls 911 immediately, which is the appropriate reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was obviously, and that's why I think maybe there is something like he could have multiple personalities. And
I think that's more a plausible explanation than what they came up what the verdict was.
Yeah. Originally, okay, so I've had 3 theories for this. I'm just gonna lay this out. So the way that it's saying she's trying to get this cat carrier. She's having dizzy spells. There's corn rake. Maybe it's like hanging on the wall or something because it's this thing. She doesn't have enough space to around, so she falls on it. She's freaking out because she's impaled by a corn rake, so she somehow gets it out, but she's still busy, so she falls on it again. Just a possibility. Second one, this guy clearly has multiple personalities and snaps and kills her and runs back and somehow gets the son to cover it up. Or there's a mystery murderer.
I 100% am convinced that the farm manager killed her. The problem is, what motive would he have?
Maybe he was just sick of all their shit.
That could be. That could be.
Maybe he's crazy. Everyone's crazy.
Maybe
he was on PCP.
And he was an even bigger creep than Todd was. Because they put him on the stand in the documentary too.
In what way? Tell me more.
He was your classic pedophile looking, And I felt bad for Todd because he was describing their sexual escapades in the courtroom, which I'm sure Todd loved hearing. Ugh. Yeah.
Interesting. Why would you, how would you feel comfortable talking about that?
Yeah.
That's not relevant.
Well, yeah, they asked him.
Oh.
But,
he's just like, let me tell you everything.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't trust him. I do think that someone else killed her. That's my final theory. I think she was murdered, but I don't think it was by Todd.
Someone was on the property, scoping out the situation of the day, saw her alone and just used that opportunity because she clearly was an annoying person. So
the farm, she had to have been. She had to have been. And for all we know, she could have ended the affair too. And he would have access. He was the farm manager. He would have access to the cameras. Mm-hmm. He would have known where everything was. Mm-hmm. For me, in my opinion, unless his alibi was rock solid, we don't know that.
Which it didn't seem like they investigated any of these side theories very well because they were so focused on blaming Todd that they didn't look into any other possibilities. They were just like, oh, yeah, he searched these. And also, what if someone else had gotten a hold of one of their iPads and searched these things and none of them knew it? It's just a search history. And the fact, okay, so Casey Anthony, and that's the search history didn't convict her. So why is the search history for this case convicting him? Yeah.
It didn't convict Lizzie Borden either.
Well, I don't think she had. I don't think she was.
The library cards.
She was on her iPad.
The library cards didn't convict her. No, but I was gonna say. I mean, could it be a possibility that someone on the prosecution got access, or somebody in the police department or something like that, who was not doing their job legally, could have put that in?
Well, listen, if we're gonna get real about that, in those small kinds of towns, I mean, again, sorry if you're from Iowa, but those
it's all corrupt.
Those states out there are all sketchy because that whole making a murder thing, clearly the police were all in on it and there was planting of evidence and there was all this stuff. And it's when you're from this small little barn town, how can you actually trust your law enforcement? Yeah. Because they're all tight with each other and maybe they just...
Oh, law enforcement covers. Same with the government,
maybe
law
they
enforcement.
Just wanted his barn. Maybe they were like, oh, this is... Obviously they have this huge, really nice barn. And they're like, oh, we can put him in jail and then confiscate the barn.
Yeah, there had to have been some sweetener in the pot. No, literally the government, law enforcement, the media, they literally never to be trusted. Always do your own research and all that. They edit things, they manipulate, They change everything to fit their wants and needs.
Their agenda.
Exactly. Why was there no lie detector test also?
But they're in Iowa.
Another thing they should have done.
They were probably like, "Can you eat this ear of corn? If yes, then you're not a liar."
And they literally had so many people going up to the stand, friends of Amy, talking about how horrible Todd was, and how they all mentioned how Amy said, "Oh, if he finds out about the affair, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna disappear." And to me, that just sounded like they were told to say that, basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they all seem to have a very similar opinion and similar things to say.
And I mean, if Amy really believed that her life was in peril, why didn't she leave him before?
Right.
So,
Well, she had to get the piglets.
well, you know what she could have? Now she's up collecting tangerines with Lizzie Borden and the Bell Witch. So I hope she's happy. So, Amy Mullis, we hope you enjoyed our coverage of your.
It says Amy was murdered, but not by Todd. Are you going to suggest someone else? Or are you just going to
Yeah, they literally
wave that corn rake around?
That's what the
and
defense
hope
was
that
horrible.
someone gives a response. Like, would anyone like to raise their hand and admit it? No. I guess we're just going to look at this corn rake for a while. Oh my god! And the kid said that his father was out of his sight for no more than 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah. Not the.
I mean, he admitted his time estimate was not correct, but still, as a 13-year-old, like.
And okay, if she were still alive when they found her, like if she was barely alive, I'm guessing it happened at the tail end of the hour. So
I don't know.
To me, Jerry, the farm manager, in my opinion, you killed her.
Well,
Unless you didn't do it. then I take that back. Yeah, I'm not really that sorry. They were having an affair.
Well, what does everyone else think?
Yeah, let us know what you think. Please.
It's a strange one.
Comment what. I thought you were going to start yelling at the bag again.
No, my dog just carried a stuffed llama, and I wasn't expecting it to touch my foot.
So yeah, let us know what you think. DM, we would love to talk to all of you. So please DM us, comment, share your stories with us. We want to get involved. We hit 2K followers. We're at 2,000, almost at 2,100, which is good, but we can do better.
Tell us about your corn rakes.
Tell us about your corn rakes, your scary stories, your everything. Tell us what you want to hear. Give us suggestions. Give us stuff to use. Rate and review us. Download, follow us on everything. Buy our merch. Join our Patreon when it opens. You guys have a bunch of homework to do. And on the next episode, we are going to be talking about, we're going to venture off into something a little bit more weird. A little bit. We are going to talk about
some spooky people and some spooky ghosts and some spooky goats. Some spooky clowns.
Goats?
I was gonna say ghosts again. Some clowns.
Oh, I forgot about the clowns. And some weird people. So the next episode, basically to sum that up, we're going to talk about where we used to work, which was an escape room in our home state. And
which is Iowa, obviously.
Oh, Lord.
Have I shown you my corn rakes? Would you like to go see them? They're in a shed about a football field away from here.
Did you recently use it to beat down a hoe?
Listen, Gigi was with me the whole time. Nothing happened.
Lizzie was with me the whole time, so she can vouch
she
for
brought
me.
you some fruit.
Yeah, she did. And so we're going to talk about where we used to work and the horror story, because it was a scary and creepy place. A lot of weird occurrences, a lot of old history behind it, but there were also just a lot of weird people.
It was really just the creepy people that we had to work with, interact with, communicate with,
and the customers.
I know. That's
I thought you just met the staff.
Well,
because that's a whole
collective.
everything there was just not it. And we're gonna dive into that and kind of maybe hopefully come up with the long answer to the long winding question we've been asking of why we stayed there. But it's also going to be really funny. There are a lot of laughs you're going to have, probably at us, not with us, but
As it should be.
As it should be. And
Our life is just a comedy for everyone to enjoy.
Rest in peace.
We're gonna get some merchandising.
You all better buy. We're not going to make those shirts for nothing, so you better use the shirts for nothing. Then we're going to deliver them to everyone we mentioned in the next episode. We're close to one of those people right now. We might have to get a small one. 2. So anyway, thank you for listening. Buy our merch. We'll have more announcements on it. And check out, we should have YouTube videos up by now. If we don't, come hunt us down and give us the Amy Mullis treatment.
Bye.